Hello, this is Max, and this is going to be a good video. Alright, I got my big screen up here with my document, my Word document, where I have everything laid out, what I'm going to talk about, and then I can also keep an eye on the camera. I don't have to switch between the two of them, and this is going to be a well thought out, well prepared, very good presentation compared to my usual content. And I don't care how many views it gets, as long as I've done my job, said my piece. And it's going to be called "Thus Spoke Elam" in honor of "Thus Spoke Zarathustra," a novel by Friedrich Nietzsche, where he discusses eternal recurrence, which is really cool. If you've ever seen True Detective Season 1, they go into that. And then Overman, the concept of an Uberman or an Overman. I'm going to explain that briefly. I haven't read the book. I read his other books, but basically, I want to read that book. And the idea of that book is, it's kind of confusing because it's based on a real person, but I'm pretty sure Nietzsche, I never really know how to pronounce his name, but he, rather than just tell you what he thinks, which he has no problem with doing, and then putting words in other people's mouths, which he has no problem with doing. In that book, I think he uses a technique where he uses fictional characters to speak philosophy with each other. And then he can let his own thoughts, he can let the person he wants to win the argument. And I think it's kind of like smoke and mirrors, but I think that's a really effective way to do philosophy, because if I go on my webcam and I say, you probably think this, and this is what I think, and I'm right and you're wrong, I think it's much less appealing and effective than if I say, here's a hypothetical conversation between Joe and Bob, and Joe thinks this and Bob thinks this, and I'm gonna do the best argument I can for each person, and we're gonna flesh out a solution. So I have a list of numbers, and number 1 is "Thus Spoke Zarathustra," just explaining that, and then number 2 is "The advantage of using fictional characters to debate philosophy rather than pretending to know what you think or having to say what I really think." Plato does this. Even George Orwell, in a sense, because Orwell, rather than just say what he thinks about British politics at his time, he would write a book about farm animals, illustrating the problems with the corruption of power and the lies of the government and things like that. So I think that's what Orwell was doing there. And then Plato, he will have characters talk, and I don't know if they're real or not. Some of them are, but some of them aren't, I'm pretty sure. And I'm not well versed in Plato. I know some of it. And number 3 is, well, let me finish number 1. But I'm really excited to get through this, guys. I promise. There's a lot of good stuff. And I'm going to be an impartial. You're going to be able to just have your own, make your own decision between, I'm going to have, instead of I said Joe and Bob, I'm going to have Elam and Nam. Elam is male spelled backwards, Nam is man spelled backwards. So they're just two men, and they're just going to have a disagreement and an argument, and you can decide who makes more sense. Free of any tension between you and me. Just the argument itself. Okay, so number 3, Socrates. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to number 1 again. Eternal recurrence is the idea that I think he first posed in another one of his books I haven't read, The Gay Science, which would be like not homosexual, but the gay as in happy. But anyway, in The Gay Science, or maybe it's in Thus Spoke, he says, a demon comes to you when you're in anguish and you're lonely, you're in a pit of despair, and a demon comes to you and he says, you will have to live this over and over again forever. And you would be horrified if he said that. However, if you're living a good life, um, you would bless him as like a god. You would say, I've never heard such sweeter words. And so Nietzsche's argument was, well, I don't know because I didn't read it, but it makes me think about the quality of your life is determined by how you would react to that demon saying those words. Because you either love him for getting to do this all over again, or you don't want to do it all over again. And I just think that's a very interesting thing. And then Overman is the idea that the select few justify the masses' existence. So in Elon Musk, if you take that story at face value, you have someone who is just doing 100,000 times as much stuff as 100,000 people. And it's like we all exist just for an Elon with a special brain to rise up and create an electric car and fly to Mars and stuff. Like and tunnel underground and solve traffic. Like he is theoretically at face value, I would think is a good instantiation of an Overman. An Uberman. Anyway, so that's kind of that's briefly what that book's about, even though I haven't read it. Just what I know about it, the basic concepts. But okay, that's why I called this post this. Okay, moving on. Sorry. Number 3, Socrates / Jesus historical comp in realness. So I've used this before as a defense of Jesus. If someone says Jesus isn't real, I say, okay, was Socrates real? And they'd say, yeah, he was a philosopher. And I'd point out that there's equal historical evidence for Socrates being sentenced to death for corrupting the youth as there is for Jesus being sentenced to death for blasphemy, I think was the crime, right? Those two things have an equal amount of historical validity and reliability and accuracy and all that. It's very similar events, front page news. So a lot of people are going to write that shit down. So whether he was God or not, you could have a debate on, and you could still say he's not real and neither is Socrates, but to say one's real and the other isn't real is just demonstrating a lack of historical consistency of understanding. Okay. But anyway, it is interesting to imagine what if Plato really was just putting his own thoughts out there. I mean, I was reading about it today, and some scholars think that Socrates was real. Plato was writing about a real person. And then as time went on, in his later works, he would use Socrates as a mouthpiece for his own ideas. Because, of course, if you're the one writing the book, you're going to want to control who wins the argument and how. And he might have put words into people's mouths, I'm sure. How could you not? But anyway, moving on to number 4. And number 4 is called 9/11 Mind Games, or I should say 911 Mind Games. Date significance and the emergency number and apophenia. Okay, this is why I made this post. So I'm calling it Thus Spoke Elam, and I've explained why I called it that. But the reason I felt that I had something to say was about 911. Okay. Apophenia, if you don't know what that means, it's a term that means seeing meaningful connections between two things where there are none. like where there's no significant meaning. And it's like the onset of schizophrenia in like the textbook. So basically it would be if I said like this blue smart water is smart and my TV is a smart TV, therefore they're connected, like it's meant to be, like I'm making a connection that it's not really relevant. Like smart water it's not the same kind of smart as the smart TV. They mean different things. They're not made by the same company. This doesn't have any technology in it that can understand speech commands. There's a connection between the words. So even that, it's hard to think of bad examples for things because the brain will automatically make a good example. Like if I try to explain broken English to someone, it's like hard for me to even imagine how to mess up a sentence because I'm so used to speaking correctly. So we'll just move on. You get what I mean, I think. Apophenia. Well, because Elam will be the one side of the argument, and he'll be over here like this. Well, I don't know. I haven't decided if the hat's gonna be okay. So this is me, Max, and then in this philosophical piece, if I go like this, hat, I'll just say hat backwards. I don't want to go left and right. Hat backwards is Elam, and he'll be speaking on behalf of truther. He'll be a truther. And then hat on forward, assuming I don't forget and fuck it up, hat forward is going to mean Nom. And Nom is going to be the average man, the smart, good man. I'm going to give him as good of an argument as I can without being a truther. Okay. So all right. So we'll do this from now on. So now and I'll experiment with it as time goes on. 9/11 mind games. What do I mean by that? Okay. What if the phone number that you had to dial for an emergency, like your wife is choking or someone broke into your house and stole your bike and they're getting away, your motorcycle. What if you were a Christian, hypothetically, and the number you had to dial in that situation was 666, which is it's associated with the devil, let's say, and it goes against your religion. Like it's a slap in the face if you would have to, like, imagine what would go through that person's head. Like, okay, I need help. Who do I call? And then you realize that the number you're dialing is like the devil's number. And like, they're not going to help you. And maybe you're thinking, okay, how does that apply to 911? Well, imagine you're a truther. And the most obvious truth, the most stereotypical example of being a truther is thinking that 9/11 was an inside job. And then imagine now an emergency happens and you have to call for someone to help you. The government, I guess it's the government, right? The local government, though. I have to dial the very number that signifies that my own government sacrificed its own people, lied about it, massive conspiracy, massive inside corruption, demonic, evil, like Illuminati, worse, as bad as you can imagine. That's what that number means to Elam, the truther. Okay, hypothetically in this scenario, and then this guy's saying, "Oh, come on." Okay, so let's give Nom some credit. Nom says 9/11 or 911, and the date, September 11th, that's just a coincidence. That's apophenia that Elam is saying. There's no meaningful connection between the number you call to get the cops to come to your house and the date of the September 11th attacks. That just is a coincidence. It's not significant. There's no meaningful connection there. And what else? What else would Noam say? Yeah, he would just say, "Who cares? There's nothing to it," right? Um. Okay, maybe you're right, right? But then let's think about it, because there's two. We only have to worry about what Nam thinks and what Elam thinks, and we'll discuss it. Elam thinks that the date was chosen on purpose ahead of time. Like, like Elam is he's the full on truther. So here's what I'm saying as Elam. 33 years before September 11th, they came out with the number 911 to be an emergency number. 1968 was the installation of 911 as the emergency number. And they had a 33-year plan to have that number embedded in everyone's consciousness and then to attack itself, blow up its own two buildings, the World Trade Centers, and turn them into one World Trade Center or one world government. They had that plan 33 years in advance, and it's an occult number 33 with occult significance, signifying the 33.3% of angels who sided with Lucifer and the fall of Lucifer in the war in heaven, I think, and the degrees of masonry. I think that's related somehow. But anyway, okay, this is Elam. He's saying, so it was planned back then, and then the number. Here's my point. It wasn't a spontaneous attack by the government, because the government did it. They planned it ahead. They picked that day. And they picked that number of a day on purpose. It was planned out, and they chose 911 because it matches the emergency number. Whether or not you buy the 33 years ago they did that, it was the emergency number was 911, and then they planned an attack on themselves on September 11th, 9/11. And they chose that date ahead of time. They had it marked on their calendar. It wasn't a random, like, okay, today I feel like blowing that up. It was planned out, right? Okay, that's Elam. Now, Nam would say, okay, that's crazy. 911 is just the number you call. There's no significance to it. It's just the number you call to get the cops, and everyone knows that. And then, even if it was 33 years before, who cares? Whatever. I'll show you this state over here where it was 32 years or whatever. Who cares? So that doesn't mean anything. And then the terrorists planned the attack on 9/11. And they chose that day for no particular numerological reason. It was just the day that they had all the flights in New York timed up, ready to go, and it was their time to attack. It wasn't an Islamic holiday. It was just, but it was planned in advance. It wasn't a spontaneous attack. They had to plan it, and they knew they had it marked on their calendar. Okay. So now me as Max, I can talk about the similarities between their arguments. They both agree that it was a planned attack. They disagree on who planned and executed the attack, but they both agree that it was planned, which means both parties, if they did it, knew when they were going to do it ahead of time. And now the question I have for the audience at home is, if we're in the terrorist argument and the terrorists are acting by their own free will, free of like government orchestration of the US, if the terrorists want to attack the United States of America and they mark on their calendar a time to do it, or they plan for years of how to do it, would they consider attacking on an Islamic holy day? Like, was it Osama bin Laden's birthday? Or was it, I've researched their holidays for this post, for this video. And their holidays, they have two holidays that are major in Islam, and they change every year. And I checked September of 2001, and there were no Islamic holidays. It fell in December that year. But next year, it might be in September. Like, depending on the stars and stuff, it changes each year, the time of their holiday. So Nam would have to say that they chose it ahead of time, but they didn't pick a special day. They just picked the best day tactically to attack. But there's no significance to the number of it. So it's a coincidence. Here's my point. It's a coincidence that the day 9/11 happens is the same as our number for an emergency, 911. That's a coincidence. Like apophenia, there's nothing there. Nam would say it's not important. It's just a funny coincidence that 911 and apophenia or 9/11 are the same date number. Okay. Number 5. Australia lockdown. Contact tracing rapid response team for one case. Shut down the mind, they said. Imagine. Okay, so I have to tell you what happened. I was listening to Quantum of Conscience today, and he was covering a story in Australia about, apparently they've had the worst lockdowns, but apparently one case happened and they freaked out. And they did press conference after press conference, guys in military jackets with like stars, like 4-star generals coming on the TV saying, I've set a rapid response team. And Quantum of Conscience was making the joke, like in the movie Kong versus Godzilla, if King Kong was loose, this is the type of reaction the public would expect from their general. Like, Kong is loose. He got off the island, but I've sent a rapid response team. Like the overkill is so extreme, and I'm gonna try to keep the hat off unless I'm in character. Okay. Anyway, it made me crack up. We're talking about not a death, a case. So someone gets the sniffles, and the entire country basically goes on lockdown, or at least the entire mind of all those workers is shut down. And not only that, but there's massive contact tracing, and they're making it public information everywhere that person has been, and everyone they've talked to, and everyone those people have mingled with. Imagine getting a text from your government saying, who have you been mingling with the past, X amount of time? You've been marked as a close contact to, Steven Seagal, who has the V. So you got to, under penalty of perjury, tell us where you've been and who you've been with, and a lack of response will be treated as guilty, and we will have to take you to a quarantine zone. Like, imagine getting that text. Not saying that you are. I'm going to try to be impartial, but that's sort of what's happening in Australia right now. And then I put in parentheses as if they don't already know. They wouldn't even need to ask you where you've been. They could look at your phone and all the phones that have been in contact with it. Everyone has their phone on them, and it's just being tracked all the time. And I get into Edward Snowden, some theories on him later, and I will give credit to where I heard them from. They're not my own, but they are. I've added to them, and they're very interesting. Brief spoiler for that, or teaser. Yeah, teaser. Anytime they make a movie about it, like they make a movie about the 9/11 plane getting when they make Flight 11 or whatever, and the plane does what they said it does. Anytime Hollywood comes out and makes a movie about, the Boston bombing with Mark Wahlberg, and I haven't seen that, or the movie with Flight 11 or on 9/11, or Edward Snowden has like a Hollywood movie like with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Like anytime they make a Hollywood movie about it, it's nowhere near the truth. It's just them trying to cement a false reality. Anyway, I'll get into that later. Okay, number 6. I just want to say, I would comply. I guess I should. It's confusing because I'm basically Elam, but whatever. I would comply. I just want to say, in the Last of Us universe, it's a video game. It's coming to HBO because it's such a phenomenal story. But there's 2 games. In the first game, basically, I would comply with mask rules in the Last of Us universe. Like, people, they get infected with a cordyceps virus, which is a fungus that takes over their face and turns them into a zombie, takes over their brain. Turns them infected, but basically like a zombie. A live zombie. But I just want to say that I would comply. Like, I'm not against, I kind of am against masks, but even in that universe, they don't wear masks. They see spores in the air where the infection is, and then that's a cue of like, oh, there's spores over there. Let's put our masks on so we don't get infected. But they don't walk around the supermarket wearing masks in that universe. And like healthy people at the store, they don't wear it. It's when you're going through an underground area that's infected, then you do it. Like, and all the procedures in that are somewhat reasonable because the illness causes you to eat other people and like shit, like kill other people. Coronavirus is a joke compared to that. And our reaction is an overreaction in every single sense of the word. But I just want to say that I would comply if I saw something that was really hurting people. You wouldn't even have to tell me to comply. The fact that there's so much forced compliance shows you that it's not even real. If no one wants to do it, it's not even worth doing. Like, you wouldn't need to coerce the people of the Last of Us universe to wear masks when appropriate. They would just do it out of their own experience and wanting to protect themselves, their own self-interest. Anyway, in that game, also, they have lines of people, and you're walking by in the tutorial, and the government is scanning each person. One of them comes up as infected, and then I think they kill him with injection. And then when one of them runs away because he doesn't even want to wait till they check him, they gun him down. And it's like, in that universe, the infection is so deadly that the government is just willing to kill you if you refuse to be tested. And if you test positive, then they definitely kill you. And why don't we just do that? Like, I don't want to do that, but I don't want to make Nom an idiot. He'll be the smart guy who disagrees. But someone would say, like, some people are so scared of Miley Cyrus, you know, the thing. They're so scared that they would want to kill. I mean, no, but my point is that's how far it can get. The reaction to if the threat is a virus, then the solution is potentially killing your own citizens and forcing them to, you know, get tested or, you know, whatever. There's no vaccine in that universe. It's a major plot point that they're trying to get one, but in that universe, I would want the vaccine. It'd be worth getting. Even if it was experimental, I would take the risk. In this universe, hell no, it's a fucking joke. Alright, but anyway, they execute people who are infected to prevent the spread. Imagine that happening in our reality over something so small. It'd be ridiculous. But anyway, that's kind of a bad argument. But it's interesting to view that universe's reaction. In some areas, like the masks, it's not even as serious as ours. Well, now I don't have to wear it, finally. Okay, number 7's a good one. Who are we as a nation? As America? Did we give our lives for our freedom? Or do we give our freedom for our lives? Which is it? Who are we? Because at face value, the story of America, when you're my age, in your 20s, you were born into this country, and they tell you in school you're in a free country, and there were wars your grandparents fought in, and there were wars for freedom, and we won, and we're free. You're free. Congratulations. We gave our lives to be free. We fought the bad people who wanted control, and we earned our freedom, right? From Britain and from Nazi Germany, Revolutionary War, World War I and II, Cold War. You know, we fight for freedom. That freedom fighters is like, you think of an American, kind of, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be fighting for freedom, right? Okay. So if we're willing to die for freedom, why are we suddenly willing to give away freedom so we can stay alive? Isn't that the exact opposite of what our country stands for, theoretically? Aren't we supposed to cherish our freedom so much that we're willing to die for it? But then all I see in the last few years is people, last 10, 20 years, my whole life, all I've seen is people giving away their freedom to our own government. We have no freedom anymore compared to what we used to. And we give it to them because we're afraid of terrorism and Miley Cyrus. I don't even know if I can say it. I get this channel safe, my other channel, you can't even say. Even if I'm being hypothetical. Like, I get flagged for medical misinformation even if I make no medical claims. Just by using buzzwords, they just take me off YouTube. And it's like, I'm not even allowed to discuss it. Like, it's one thing to not allow someone to spread misinformation, but that's hard. I am trying to be a philosopher who says an argument for both sides and examines the pros and cons, I'm not taking it apart. I mean, in theory, like there is a video that I got flagged for where I literally didn't make a single medical misinformation claim. Like I literally said everything I said was hypothetical. Like here's what could be happening. Here's what else could be happening. Here's what else could be happening. I don't know. I did that over and over again. Anyway, it's just so ridiculous. No one cares though. No one cares that freedom is gone. Freedom of speech is gone. No one gives a shit. It's amazing. Okay, so who are we? AIDS, Elam versus Nam. We've kind of done that already. All right, 9. So Elam had the opening statement on topic number 1, which was 911. And then the significance, the apophenia. He got to make that argument. He got to talk about what he wanted to talk about. Now it's my turn. I'm Nam, and I'm going to make an opening statement, and he can defend himself. And my opening statement is look at the QAnon people. It's this group of conspiracy theorists that said that Trump was going to overthrow the presidential election, and a bunch of white hats were going to ride in on horses with sealed indictments and throw people like Hillary Clinton into jail, and all these criminals in the government were going to be finally have their day behind bars, and the government was going to fix itself from the inside in some way. Like the military was going to side with Trump. I mean, I have very smart people who fell for this, and maybe they're still holding on. They're still clinging on to hope about it. But okay, I'm sorry, I'm not. That is a proven false conspiracy theory, and these people don't know what they're talking about, and they all believe a bunch of crap, and yada yada. Okay, then Elam would say, I never believed in QAnon. My friend told me about it, told me to look into it. I wasn't that interested in it. I find it very hard to believe. I have a total lack of faith of the government fixing itself from the inside. Even someone like Rand Paul, he's on my bad list. Even though this year he comes out and he's on my side, and he'll ask Dr. Fauci a tough question. I remember 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I don't know how long it was. Not 20 years ago. I wasn't 9 years old, but 10 years ago, Ron Paul was the only guy who had a clue from my perspective, and his son would disagree with him on key issues. And I remember thinking, Rand Paul is on my permanent bad list. Like he just had a chance to back up his pops on like a conspiracy theory, and he threw him under the bus instead. And I just remember being like, he's not my guy. So he's on my bad list. Maybe he's changed, but I highly doubt it. Seems like potentially controlled opposition. Maybe there are decent people in government. I doubt it. Like that's my Elam is all the way truth is that almost everything you see is controlled opposition, and I guarantee you Fauci's email link or email leak, his emails are leaked. Oh no, what did he say? If you actually saw that man's emails, your fucking head would explode. There's no way any of that's real if it's leaked. It's just such a fucking joke. So, like a front man like that. Hell no. I don't care what they say. What a joke. And it's like manipulation on manipulation on manipulation. Like the chess moves are astronomical and supernatural. It's not. It's they expose themselves in a way that they can control, and everything is ingenious. And it's none of it is like, oops, you caught me. My emails got hacked. Oh no, Hillary Clinton, her phone gets hacked. Like all of them just like fuck up. Like no, they actually don't. And even someone like George Bush, who plays the village idiot, the presidential idiot, he went to Yale, and his speech may have deteriorated between being a governor and being president, or being a second term president, let's say, because he was playing the part of the idiot. And it's like smoke and mirrors. Maybe he is an idiot, but like Paris Hilton recently came out in a video and said, I was pretending to be a dumb blonde. I'm actually quite smart, and this is my voice and how I really sound, and I was pretending to be dumb. She came out with a different voice saying that. And she did it with like an occult thing behind her. Oh God, it's just so bad everywhere. I'm not saying life isn't fun. You can't have fun with it. I think it's fascinating. I think it's like just the same way I like a complex chess position. I like a complex government. It would be nice if government worked for us, and parts of it do. But man, there's some evil shit going on here. All right. So that's my defense to Nom's calling me a QAnon guy. Okay. Like anything that's pushed by the media, anything you've heard about is most likely controlled opposition nonsense. All right. Number 11. That was number 9, and now I go to number 11. I skipped number 10, just like I'm just going to always skip number 10 in these because 9, 11, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. I just like that. It's not my idea. I got it. Well, that's my idea, but the 9/11 numerology theory of skipping 10 is someone else's idea. It's not mine. Okay, 999. Okay, number 12. Juice World. Now, Juice World is a allegedly deceased rapper who died from drug overdoses, and all his songs are about how he's going to die from drug overdose. I used to take the drugs, now the drugs take me. And 999 is his number. It's like 999 Productions and on YouTube. And first of all, I think he's extremely talented. He did a song with Eminem, who I like, and God, I could get into his shit, but I won't. But Juice WRLD, I really like his music. He's very talented, man. First time I heard a Juice WRLD song, I was like, man, this is like the best song I've ever heard. All Girls Are the Same, whatever it's called. What a phenomenal singer and musician. Amazing, amazing rapper. Very sad that he's not putting music out anymore. But 999, what is that? Why is that your number? And like Drake, why is your number 666? It's like a zip code or something. You'll be like 6, and it'll echo like 666. It's like, okay, Drake. And okay, Juice WRLD. Like 999 is 666 upside down. And in those satanic books, they compliment the number 999 as being like the second best number because it's 666 upside down. And then 33 is like another good number. Like they like those numbers. Okay. But would you feel comfortable? Okay, I already said that. But what the fuck, Juice WRLD? And if you listen to the lyrics of his songs, like one of them is he says like the pills are why I'm here and they're also why I won't be here. Like I just told you all my secret. Like he says in his song that the reason he's famous is because he's on pills, and the reason he's gonna die young is because he's on pills, and he needs the pills to live, but they're also gonna kill him. But the him predicting his own death and then dying, and same with Mac Miller and even XXXTentacion, except he got shot. But Mac Miller in particular and Juice World, I mean, their videos and their songs are so prophetic. The words of how they're gonna die, it's really weird. Like, you would think you could just, if you know you're gonna die from that, you could just like stop it. Like, you beat life. You have like a Maserati and like a hot million girl followers. Like, pump the brakes on the pills and relax. Like no, you just got to go hard and then die of heroin and stuff. And it's like, is he an addict and is addiction a real thing? Yes, but what if he's just glorifying it and he's getting paid? I mean, he's so talented. They're both so talented that it's hard to suggest. But is there some weird deal that they made where you get to be famous, but you have to glorify addiction and then die to it, so that all the people listening to you, they all think it's okay to do that. I don't know. It's I haven't thought this through, but it's, why 999? Like, what is he doing there? If he's just some kid, why is the devil in his music video and his company 999? If he's just some kid struggling with, I mean, spiritually, you could say the devil is like the master of the addiction. Like, you're giving into the devil if you're giving into your addiction. So maybe there's just some symbology. Maybe there's some symbology there. I don't know, but it's weird to me that these young kids die in the way that they know they're gonna die, and it's just like, it's eerie, it's weird. And then there's like music coming out after they're dead of predicting their own death and stuff, and it's just like really something to think about. I mean, if you think 999 doesn't mean anything, good for you, Nam. All right. Number 13. Eye of Providence on a male porn star's hand. So I'm trying to watch less porn, but it's not going very well. And the other night I was watching a porn star, two porn stars, male and female, and the man was touching the girl's hair, and she was, doing something, and all you could see was the girl's face and the guy touching her hair. So his hand was, the picture was on the camera's on the girl, but you see the man's hand, okay, his left hand, and his left hand has a huge Illuminati triangle pyramid with the eye, and it's called the Eye of Providence. If you Google that, it comes right up. So what? Why? Like, if you're just some porn star and you have a big dick and you get to screw hot girls, why do you get a tattoo of that on your hand? And what does it mean to you? And what does he know that other guys don't? And what is his job really? What is he really doing? And is his thingamajig even real, or is it enhanced in some way? And I can't get over that tattoo, because it's like, what are they saying? Like, Are they saying like join us, and you'll get this? Like I've had that situation. I don't need to be a part of some weird occult to get. I mean, maybe now I do, but back in the day, easy money. You don't need to be part of the top of the pyramid of Satanism to get a girl to do that to you. And I don't get. I want to know what the fuck does he even think that means? Does he think, oh, like some people like God, I can't help but make Nam like a moron. I wish I could give him more IQ points, but he'd be like, oh, he just thought it looked cool. Um, you know. Or maybe he's part of a fraternity. So what? Maybe he's part of a club and and then Elam's like, maybe the government is paying him. They're subsidizing porn videos. That's why you can watch HD porn videos for free and you can't watch other videos for free, is because the government is paying for it to be free. And then he's part of their lower levels of the occult, and his job is to get that tattoo. And if you wear that tattoo and maybe the director's in on it, I don't know. I'm just saying, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing with that on your hand? I don't know. Okay, number 14, Edward Snowden theories. So, I've been trying to get in contact with Quantum of Conscience, but I've only gotten in contact with Autumn Rye, who Quantum of Conscience knows, and who knows Quantum of Conscience. Me and Autumn Rye I had him do a guest blog post, and we've talked. And then this other guy, Calcified Lies, he watches my videos. Like if I make a super long video like this is let's see how long this is. Yeah, it's almost an hour. If I make a 2-hour video, Calcified Lies will watch the whole thing and then comment saying, I watched the whole thing, good job or something. He's cool. He and I have been in contact. Lately, I've been watching his videos. We're both fans of Adam Pants. We're both disciples of Adam Pants. I wonder if Jonathan Adam Pants if that's what he wanted. If he knew that if he had just kept going, me and Calcified Lies would have just listened to him and not put anything out there. But by him leaving a void of that type of philosophy, his disciples, the people who heard truth in his words, are taking up the space that he left behind. And so Calcified Lies, he has, not many viewers, and neither do I, but we put out shit in an Adam Pants vein. And Adam Pantheon. Anyway, last year I was going to name my fantasy football team. My friend had a joke. My name was Adam Pants, Team Adam Pants, before I drafted. And then on the day of the draft, I'm a Browns fan, so I wanted Nick Chubb at all costs. But Devontae Adams was like the best player on the board, and my friend was like, you should get Devontae Adams and name your team Devontae Adam Pants. And I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant and genius. And it's like, but I like the Browns. I'm going to be watching the Browns games, and I want to be rooting for Nick Chubb. So I passed on him, and Adam Pants had a monster season, and Chubb got injured. But Chubb's amazing. He averaged 6 yards a carry. But anyway, Adam Pants is a monster. I might draft him and name my team that next year. Okay, so Calcified Lies messaged me saying, be careful with Quantum of Conscience and Autumn Rye. And the comment got deleted and disappeared. And we've since corresponded, but he hasn't gotten back to me about that comment. That I don't know if he deleted it or who did, but I saw it. I saw the notification for it, but it was gone. Anyway, I started watching his videos to see, well, what does this guy think? And one of his theories is that Edward Snowden isn't a real person. And what's funny is that in the year 2021, first of all, Edward Snowden has never been in person anywhere. He's always on a screen by himself. I think almost always. If he goes on Joe Rogan or, Lex Friedman or whatever, he's super boring and he's always by himself. And he's exposing the government, but he won't even. I forgot to research this before this, but does he even touch 9/11? Like, if you're exposing the government illegally watching everything you're doing, and you work for the NSA and you like hack them and release a bunch of information, did you forget to release the information that, like, any huge bombs, of information? Anyway, like, do you get it? But, and I mean Snowden, not you, but there's a movie about him. And it's popular news. It's popular knowledge that he did X. Therefore, him doing X is not true. Because anything true is tampered with and like fictionalized, or that's the wrong word. It's hidden, let's say. The truth is hidden. So Snowden might be an AI generated person. It might be an amalgamation of different images of like people. And AI already has the ability to take a bunch of pictures of people. It's called deep learning, and I've done it. Not with images, but I've done it. Deep learning has the ability to look at a bunch of pictures and then produce pictures of people that don't exist. And you can't tell the difference between a real person. You kind of can, but not really. And it's getting better and better. So it could just be a government operation, like Operation Snowden. Whether he could be an employee who's in on it, or he could be not a real person, and they could just say, and I got to put my crazy hat on for this, but they could just say, Operation Snowden, Edward, we're gonna have you release the fact that we're spying on everyone in such a way that you'll kind of flee to another country and we won't chase you, and tell them kind of what we're doing but not really, and then that way they'll accept it. We'll make a movie about it. It'll be cool, and it'll just be the next people that are born. They'll just accept that the government knows everything I type in my private email, things like that. So it's a normalization of what they're doing already. It's like, if you expose yourself, it's like, here's a perfect example. There's Something About Mary is a movie about a guy. Oh my god, there's so much truth bombs in this movie. If you're fucking know what's up. Okay. There's 2 truth bombs. I gotta say them both so I don't forget. One of them is regarding the private investigator tricking Ben Stiller. The other is the private investigator tricking Mary, Cameron Diaz. So, and when he tricks Ben Stiller figures out the trick, but he falls for the trick within the trick. And that's what's so brilliant in that movie, whether they intended it or not, It's a hilarious joke, so they did intend it. Hilarious joke. But the joke is, spoilers, Ben Stiller is obsessed with his ex-high school girlfriend, Mary, who it didn't end well with. And that's funny as well. But, so he hires a private investigator to find out where she lives. And because he can't, he like, loves her still. The private investigator says, okay, I'll go check her out. She's in Florida or something. I'll go check her out. The private investigator flies down to Florida. I think they're in like San Francisco or something. Flies down to Florida and sees Cameron Diaz and falls in love with her because there's something about Mary. That's the movie. Everyone falls in love with her. She's lovely. Now, the private investigator is in love with her. He's spying on her, learning about what kind of guy she's looking for because she's single, and he realizes she's the perfect girl, and he wants her to choose him, right? So he goes back to his office in San Francisco. He tells Ben Stiller she's fat, she has kids, and sorry for the bad news. Ben Stiller says, and this is not in his office, this is like when they're meeting. Ben Stiller says, okay, well, thank you for telling me that, but he's shocked, and he's like, I'll think about it. And then, but the PI is trying to scare Ben Stiller away to get rid of the competition. Now, so that's the lie. He's tricking Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller the next day says, he comes to his office and says, you know what? I really want to follow up with Mary. I don't care that she's fat and has kids. I just really loved her in high school, and I wanna see her for myself. So, he tells her she's in a wheelchair. Anyway, he's just lying to him, right? The PI is lying. I wish I knew his name. He's lying to Ben Stiller, and he's leaving the office. He's packed up his office. He's quit his job as a private investigator to go move down to Florida to court Mary. When Ben Stiller comes up and says, I want to try again, or I want to try with Mary anyways. Give me her address, So he makes up some shit like he lies again. And the second lie is, oh, well, she's going to Fiji or Australia for a year. And also he's like, why are you leaving your office and quitting? And he said, oh, I got a job with Rice-A-Roni. He just throws out Rice-A-Roni. And this is where the joke comes in. He's lying about where Mary is, what she's doing, who she is, and what he's doing and where he's going. He's lying. The reason why he's going is not for a job with Rice-A-Roni. He made that up on the spot, okay? So later on in the movie, Ben Stiller finds Mary, or he hears from someone else who knows Mary, and the friend who went to high school with him who saw Mary recently says, oh my God, she's a surgeon and she's still as hot as she was when she was 18 and in high school. And then he goes, oh my God. Ben Stiller goes, oh my God, that PI was lying to me. And then the joke is, he says, he went down there, he didn't even look Mary up. He was just trying to get his job with Rice-A-Roni. Okay. So, Ben Stiller, upon receiving information that clearly shows that the private investigator was lying to him, he then constructs a scenario where he thinks he has it figured out, but he's way off still, based on the sheer amount of lies that guy told him. So Rice-A-Roni was a lie, but in the face of his Mary lie, Ben Stiller thinks that it it wasn't that the PI is in love with Mary and lying about him to get him off the trail and lying about Rice-A-Roni and moving down there. Ben Stiller's level 2 realization. Level 1 is believing the PI. Level 2 is realizing he's lying and thinking that it was the Rice-A-Roni job that the private investigator was really working on in Florida, and the private investigator didn't he didn't even look Mary up, and he was just conning Ben Stiller to take his money, and he just made up some things about Mary because his motivations were to seem legitimate so he could take his money. But it had nothing to do with him falling in love with Mary and moving down there to be with Mary. That didn't even occur. The truth, even upon learning the lie, the truth never even occurred to Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller just fell for an even deeper lie and thought he was full of shit. He was with his Rice-A-Roni people the whole time. So the joke, when Elam watches that movie, the joke is people are so clueless and bad at telling deception that even when confronted with a fact that contradicts the deception, they will just fall into the second web of deception laid out by the liar. It never even occurs to them. It never even occurs to Ben Stiller that the PI did see Mary and purposely said the opposite of what she is, and quit his job so he could go be with her and no one else could be with her. Okay, and that brings me to my second truth drop in the movie. The PI guy is, and this is what the government does. This is what I'm talking about. There's something about the government. There's something about Mary. There's something about that private investigator. Okay, the PI guy has his PI skills to use to get with Mary. So he learns that she wants an architect. And so he pretends to be an architect, for example. He also learns that he's been exposed. An architect friend of Mary's, who's also in love with Mary and lying, but we don't know that yet. It's a great movie. The architect friend of Mary's tells Mary, that architect guy you're seeing is not a real architect. He's lying. I looked into it. He's a liar. And he's a murderer. He makes up some shit. The private investigator is... okay, maybe that's... I'm getting confused. But there is a point where... My point is, the private investigator overhears Mary saying, hey, I just learned that the guy I'm supposed to go out with tonight is actually a con artist. Like, he's actually not an architect, right? Okay. She learns he's not an architect, and she's not going to go out with him anymore. And then the girls are sitting around saying, I can't believe he's such a liar, right? Now, the private investigator guy plays this to his advantage, where he switches to another lie. And his second lie is, oh, I'm in the Peace Corps, and I lied about being an architect because I was trying to impress you. But the truth is, I am a Peace Corps person who builds houses for the less fortunate, right? So, in the way he does this is he writes a script for him and his friend to read. And he knows that Mary's friend has a police radio monitor where they can listen to other people's phone calls. So he purposely has a dummy phone call with his friend where him and his friend are talking about Mary and him not being an architect. And the friend is like, why didn't you tell her you weren't an architect? when and the friend goes, "Wouldn't she like that you're in the Peace Corps?" And he goes, "Well, I didn't think she'd appreciate, me doing that, and it's really just between me and the children in Africa, and it's not to get girls with." So he makes up this bullshit phone call that he knows she'll hear, so that even though he's caught in one lie, he's caught her in another. Just like he did to Ben Stiller. He double lied to both of them, and both lies worked, and then they had the backup lie also worked both times. So that's what the government does, is they will come right out and lie. And then if anyone discovers the lie, they'll fall into the second lie. And there's layers of lies. And it's so masterful. It's just like the PI guy, but with $1 trillion budget. And Satan. The master of deception at the helm. So there's something about the government. Maybe I'll title it that. I gotta write that down. There's something about the government. Thus spoke Elam. That's the title of this. Alright, we're almost done. Number 15 is disinformation, manipulation on manipulation, just like I was talking about. There's traps for people who don't fall into the first trap. Like QAnon or whatever. Okay, last thing, because I'm getting bored of talking of conspiracies. I'm sure you are too. But this is the last thing. Gotham Chess, number 18. I love chess, and I follow it like a sport. I find it a top chess tournament or the World Championship. I find to be more enthralling than the Super Bowl these days. It's just fascinating to me. Magnus Carlsen, when he's in a championship match with someone who's challenging to be the world champion, it's so exciting because there's been so many world champions. It switches, but every once in a while there's a guy who's just untouchable for decades, and Magnus is that guy right now, and he's like called the Mozart of chess, and it's just fun to witness greatness. And his new challenger will be Nepo in Neponiachi. I should really know that. Neponiachi. It's hard to pronounce, but he just goes by Nepo in the chess circles. But Neponiachi. I wonder if I could spell it. Anyway, Gotham Chess is a YouTube channel that does a tremendous job, better than any other channel, at making it like a sport. He's like, then D4 was played and E5, and it's like, oh, like he makes it really exciting, and he's funny, he's brilliant, he's passionate, and I love his videos. He's brought me so much great joy, and I think he's a brilliant chess player and teacher and phenomenal YouTuber, and my hat's off to him. However, he is monetized, and he does it for a living, and he has sponsors, and he has ad revenue, and he even, the other day, he spent the first 2 minutes of the video literally just plugging a product. And that's fine. I mean, I would pay him. He's that good. I don't mind. I would be a patron if he asked for that instead of the ads. He's tremendous. Anyway, sometimes when a chess player makes a triangle with the pawns, he will make a joke and say, because he's a member of the Illuminati, he made the triangle. It's like, no, okay, obviously he's trying to win a chess game, and the triangle is a coincidence. It's apophenia, right? It's a meaningful connection where there is none, right? It's just a guy trying to win a game of chess. Or he'll show like a knight move. I don't know, but he'll do Illuminati chess position stuff. But he's always being tongue in cheek, facetious, and it's funny. I laugh. But I'm also incredibly perceptive. And I know how they do things at the under the table. Every single time, I think, multiple times, let's say 3 out of 3 times that I've seen it, if he makes the Illuminati joke, he'll follow it up with a comment on the coronavirus, as if they're joined. Like, he'll make 7 videos in a row, and in none of them did he mention the virus, but in one of them he mentioned both the Illuminati and the virus. And he never mentions one without the other. And so alarms were going off in my head, like, that's weird. I mean, why does he do that? Is that a coincidence? Or, like, why are they attached? That's my point. It's statistically, it doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you just be talking about coronavirus on a Tuesday and then you make the Illuminati joke on a Friday? Why is it in the same video within 10 seconds of each other every time? And then today, he just hit it right on the head. He said, well, you could play king to here, but then that would be a stupid move, like not getting vaccinated. If you want to disagree with me, Elam, wearing this hat, I respect. I'm okay with that. Like, Nam, what's your best argument against me? Like, let's talk about it. To call me stupid, to call it a stupid move to not get vaccinated, to equate that to a stupid chess move, a stupid move to not get vaccinated. I'm a very thoughtful, well-educated, articulate person who made a decision to not do it. And to call me stupid, I mean, and then he followed it up with a joke he always does, which is, he said, a lot of people are going to be offended by what I just said. And to those people, I say, and then he played A3. And then he goes on analyzing the chess game. And the implication there is you're not even worth addressing. And he's done that before in other situations with other groups of people where they deserved it. But I was never offended until just now when he said it was a stupid move. So what's going on there? Just a YouTuber pushing a chess content provider, the best one there is right now, pushing that. He's better at chess than me. He's younger than me. He may be smarter than me. But is he really that stupid in that area? Or is he like not that it's stupid to get whatever, but I do think it's stupid to think it's stupid to not do it. Because there are very good reasons to not do it. For example, I don't need to do it. I feel fine. I'm not afraid of anything that I see, so I'm not going to do it. Like, why do I have to do something? Anyway, what a world. What's going on with him? I mean, the Illuminati comments he makes, and then the pushing of the agenda that they would certainly want pushed. What a world. All right. God bless. God bless America. And God bless. What do they say? God bless. God bless this. God bless that. And God bless America. What do they say? And God bless the United States of America. What,